Hi, Jessica.
Who the hell are you?
The woman who's going to save your life.
Welcome to Know Her Is to Fear Her, the Spider-Woman podcast, and we're your hosts, Seren and Rey.
Hey,
Episode 48.
How you going, Seren? It's a new year, 2024. We got here. We're back, as excited as ever, and we've got a little bit of catch up to do, I guess.
Yes, we are a bit behind, but that's what happens during the holidays when
That's
you
true.
have little babies and a lot of work.
And a lot of work. Yeah, how is work going? It's very full on, is it?
It's a lot.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't bring it up. I don't want to take you to a dark place, but yeah,
It's a lot.
Oh, that sucks. Absolutely sucks. Well, there's a bit of a silver lining here, Saren, because we do get to set aside some time in the day, in the week, to chat about one of our favorite, if not the favorite character, Spider-Woman, of course. So welcome back, Spider Babies. So glad to have you with us. A big thank you, of course, to our Spider Baby patrons first and foremost. But Saren, yeah. What's been happening in the last couple of weeks? How was the New Year's? How was Chrissy?
They were good.
Yeah.
Spent time with my family and some friends on family for Christmas and then friends for New Year.
Cool.
Didn't really do much, just kind of hung out. It was good.
Yeah, pretty much the same as well. Just kind of very low key and yeah, just good to kind of chill. And Eve's, my partner's brother, came over from Germany, so he got to catch up with his niece and nephew, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, we went to a farm at one stage just for a few nights. That was cool. We had a couple of goats. Literally just trying to they were escaping their pens and they're kind of like at our front door all the time, which was pretty fun. And
have you ever, do you know what that makes me think of? Have you ever seen that video online of like there's this kid and the kid's like it's a fucking goat outside. And I was like, oh, is that a goat? And the kid goes, no, it's a fucking goat. It's really funny.
It doesn't know what he's saying.
Yeah. Oh, I think she knows exactly what she's saying, but
okay.
Yeah. She was like 2 or 3 years old. She goes, no, it's a fucking goat. It was really funny.
Crazy.
Yep.
But yeah, that was fun. Yeah, and New Year's was very, just with family as well, and yeah, it was good. Refreshed for the new year, Saren. I'm on an extended leave, so I'm loving it.
Nice.
Sorry, I don't want to rub it in, but anyway, Spider Babies. Saren, we have a new series to cover.
We do. It's so exciting. It came out at the end of November.
Mm-hmm.
We're really behind, guys. So today we are going to be bringing you a Spider-Woman volume number 8, issue number 1.
Yeah.
And it's a gang war tie-in. So before we get into that, though, I do want to say,
yes.
In Just Jabber News, that I didn't write down in our notes here, Ray, but I just remembered it as we were talking. Spider-Woman Marvel Masterworks Volume 4 is up for pre-order on Amazon.
Yes.
Which means you could probably also pre-order it from your LCS. So be sure to do so.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it's coming out later this year.
Yeah.
It looks like after it was how many years from Masterworks Volume 1 to Volume 2?
Yeah.
And now they're seen to be cranking them out, which is great.
This is what happens when you at least get a sniff. I mean, she's not in Madam Web, but across the Spider-Verse, when a character will peripherally pop up on screen, you get a bit more, which is great. I mean, I'm not complaining at all.
I am not complaining either.
Yeah.
Also,
Mhm.
in Just Jabber news, we are getting a second arc, it would seem. The solicitation for Spider-Woman issue number 5 is out. That's coming out on March 20th,
Very
2024.
cool. Yes.
The synopsis is, in the fallout from the explosive citywide gang war, Jessica Drew uncovered the terrible truth behind the search for... I'm going to leave this one little section out
Okay.
because we haven't talked about issue 1. Now, granted,
No.
I'm sure everyone who's listened has read this
Mhm.
issue, but that's okay.
It's okay.
Because in case you haven't, spoilers. So now when she's at her lowest, the last thing Spider-Woman wants is an unexpected team-up. But try telling that to Bailey Briggs, the spectacular Spider-Boy. So hey, apparently Marvel has the rights to the name Spider-Boy now. I don't think they did before.
Yeah. He's a weird creator. What is your take on Bailey Briggs? I mean, I think...
did not know his existence until about 45 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. He was really weird. Dan Slott introduced him. It's kind of like, what? And they really are pushing him. Like, he's got his own series now as well. It's kind of like he's come
Yeah, I
out
did
of
see
nowhere.
that he had a series.
Yeah.
So it's not that I haven't heard of him. I have heard of him, but like, I didn't really look into him until about 45 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But I did not realize that I think by giving him a series makes him a legit and official, kind of like why they made Spider-Woman a series. I think his origin was funny. His origin story is very similar to Jessica's. And then, they made a comic book for her so they could maintain the right to the name. So obviously, I think that's what they're doing here too. It's a very Jessica Drew. He's very parallel to Jessica Drew right here, right now.
That is that parallel is uncanny as well, Sharon. I mean, we were talking before about his other parallels. Apart from his title and retaining the rights to the name, we mentioned he's a mixture. For those that don't know about Bailey Briggs, he's very much a mix of spider DNA and human DNA. And Seren, you also mentioned one of his powers.
It's like a venom bite.
Mm-hmm.
He can bite you.
Yeah, he can bite.
Inject, like, he's like venomous bite. He's got a venomous bite. It's not like Jess's Venom Blast or Miles' Venom Blast, but
no,
still, it's pretty freaking interesting.
Yeah, like Jessica Drew, I think she was the OG when it came to going beyond just spider powers and proportional strength and speed. She had like the Venom Blast, and as you said, we see Miles with it, and now Bailey Briggs has it. So they're kind of amping up Spider People's powers based on the original Spider Woman. But yeah, he's a really weird one because Sharon, apart from what you mentioned before about gaining the rights to it, there just seems to be this massive push for him to be inserted into the universe and to be established. It's kind of almost fast tracking him, which I don't know. I was alive back then, but I wasn't aware back then when Spider-Woman first came about whether there was a huge push. She was very much on the periphery still. Like she was.
Well, yeah. So what happened with Jess is, they got wind that, this company's going to make a Spider-Woman cartoon. So they made a Spider-Woman cartoon, and they also did a one-shot comic so they could get the copyright to the name before the other company could do anything. So they pushed her through.
Yeah.
The thing is, that one-shot comic became so popular, they were like, oh, well, what the hell? We'll do a whole series on it.
Yes.
People seem to like her. She seems to resonate.
Yeah.
She also got a whole bunch of merch. I don't know if anyone remembers Underoos, but apparently there were Spider-Woman Underoos in the 1980s.
Lunchboxes, the whole kit and caboodle.
Well, I don't know if she had lunchboxes, but she definitely had like Underoos and coloring books and all sorts of cool shit and toys, and she had all sorts of cool shit.
But in contrast to Bailey, then, like as you said, she had this like one-off like cameo, and that they built off that. Whereas with Spider-Boy, it seems like they're making an executive decision. Okay, he's going to be a staple. Let's just get him in there, and let's just pile, a title on him.
Yeah, and then they pile them all with Spider-Man, and I'm sitting here going, okay, I understand why you piled like Miles and Bailey on with Spider-Man because it's Spider-Man, but also Miles and Bailey have more in common with Jess than they do with Peter, and I'm sitting there going, what? Well, Bailey, we're actually getting him in a Spider-Woman comic, which is awesome. But like, why hasn't she teamed up with Miles? Like,
Yeah.
There should totally be a Jess and Miles team up because
that would be cool.
their powers are like basically the same.
Yeah, Jess
Except
always.
for a couple little things.
Yeah, I mean, and as we've mentioned, Jess has always seemed to be on the outer. I kind of like that in a way, like that she's
I
kind
do
of
too.
the rogue, but it is sometimes.
She's the. There's actually you're saying that. It's funny you're saying that
Yeah.
because I just saw an article today from CBR about how Jess was like seems to be like the black sheep of the spider family because there's always arguments about it.
Yeah.
And they're like, and the article is basically like, well, Bailey has very similar origins to Jess, and really he's not much of a spider person anyway, but y'all seem to have accepted him a lot better into the spider family than you have Jess. Yeah. What's the difference? I know what the difference is, but I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, look, and they've made attempts as well, I'm assuming, I'm just theorizing, with that Spider-Man adjectiveless title, where Jess, she basically got whisked away from existence by Dan Slott. So she was in some ways like she was the core or the focus of that arc, with the Web of Destiny and all that. So that was good that she was included in that sense. But, we look at all the other Spider-Geddons and not so much the Spider-Verse, but she was involved tell you right in that.
Now,
yeah.
Spider-Geddon, they could have done a fuck ton of jumping off with Jess for that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, okay, the Inheritors can't eat her because she's so fucking radioactive. Yeah. They have no problem with all the other radioactive spiders, but Jessica is so radioactive that they cannot eat her without dying.
Yeah.
That could have been a whole fucking arc. That could have been so cool.
Well, she could. She could have been the, I don't know what you call it, the wild card for the Spider people, because she's got that ability. Yeah. And we know there was in Spider-Verse, I'm tracking way back, when I think it's Sydney Moon, she kind of stumbles onto this reality that's purely like radioactive, and the Inheritors are full on scared. They will not set foot in it. So can you imagine if they went up against an opponent like Jess, who does that? Yeah,
she did. They all went up to that. Jess was in that, or she still had to use a spider suit, but I don't know why she really had to use a spider suit because she didn't really need one. She's immune to it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. You cannot lay a clue like that. That one, Jess can control Morlun with her pheromones, and two, they can't eat her because she's so radioactive. Yeah. That they should be more pissed about Jessica Drew than they should ever be at Peter. Yeah. They should be hunting her ass down for and they were gonna do it, but then they saved her. But that could have been a whole line of just I don't know. That could have been a whole line, a whole storyline.
You just reminded me, Seren, of how well Dennis Hallam wrote Jess, her voice and her character. I just loved it. I remember, I'm just remembering now the interactions with Morlun and just her infiltrating.
I would have liked seeing Dennis Hallam's Jess a little bit darker. But,
okay,
no, I loved his Jess. I did. I loved his Jess.
Well, she seemed a little darker in the Spider-Verse, right? So
yeah, a little bit, and then she had a baby, and it got a little bit lighter.
Yeah,
which I loved seeing. I like seeing, and I know a lot of people are still pissed about Mommy Jess. But
yeah,
But yeah, it's. I really actually like Carla's Jess because that was. Awesome.
Brilliant. Straight off the bat. I mean, I will make. Maybe I won't. It's unfair. I was going to make some comparisons between this later series and the previous ones, but no, don't want to do that.
No, it's hard to. You have your opinions. You can't really compare.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people really loved Bendis Jess the most because Bendis. Really in Agent of Sword, as we had talked about previously, he really went he really took Jess to some dark places. And, so and people like that, and they want more of that. Some people really like dark angsty Jess, and you know what? That's awesome.
Yeah,
I like dark angsty Jess too.
Yeah, look, I like a variety as well. It's similar to...
But she can't always be that way.
Yeah, exactly. It's similar with me and like, say, Daredevil as well, because you had the Mark Waid run, which was a lot lighter, and then you had the darker runs as well. I think the same applies for Jess. I mean, I love just the variety that she gives, and look, I do like my dark and angsty as well. I'm not going to lie, but I do appreciate the Carla's one wasn't full on dark, but it was one of the best runs I can imagine for Spider-Woman. So, it's just it's nice to have a different palette, I think, for her. So leading into that as well, Sharon, we do have this new series headed by Carola Borelli and Steven Foxe. Shall we get into it?
Let's get into it. Okay. So
I've got it here.
Spider-Woman Volume 8, Number 1, Gang War Tie-In, Part 1. Released on November 29th, 2023, with a cover date of January 2024. As we said, writer Steve Foxe, artist Carola Borelli, inkers Carola Borelli, colorist was Arif Prianto, letterer was VC's Joe Sabino. Oh, not Corey Pettit. We've had Corey Pettit forever. And editor is Ellie Pyle. Currently only available on floppy.
Oh, not on digital.
Oh, and digital. Sorry, it is. It was hiding underneath a picture. It's there. It was hiding, guys.
Okay. Oh no, I thought you knew something I didn't. And no, yeah. So
no, it's definitely on digital because I read it that way.
Yes, and I do have it here on the screen. Look, it's these are the standard formats for any new release. So obviously, Spider Babies. At the time of this recording, although we're a little late, these are new comics. So I'm sure later down the track, obviously in the trades, complete collections, and dare I say, an omnibus. That's dreaming, but, we live to dream.
Hey, we got our Dennis Hopeless omnibus, which you all should have if you don't.
Yes. I saw that.
So...
I'm not sure if it's applicable for Amazon US, but I know Amazon Australia. I might pick it up. It's more than half price off. So at the moment, so go pick it up if you want. It goes for about 55 Aussie dollars, which is very cheap.
You're going to Amazon.com.
Amazon.com. Just you're talking about the complete collection, right? Not the omnibus. I think the omnibus was. Sure. Yeah, I think the omnibus was only released in Spain.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, Spain. The Spaniards, they love their Jessica Drew, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. The that's the.
Is it on sale?
It is $27.59.
Oh, that's pretty good
for paperback for the Dennis Hopeless run.
The complete run, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah,
it is, it includes Spider-Woman 2014 numbers 1 to 10, Spider-Woman 2015 numbers 1 to 5, 8 to 17. Material from Amazing Spider-Man 2015 number 1. So it does not include the Spider-Women crossover.
Yep. So that's still, if you can find it, it's still in trade. There's a complete collection for that too. Just hunt around. I'm sure on eBay, maybe you can find it. It might be out of print. I'm not too sure. But yeah, so what we'll do, Spider Babies, it has been a while. It is the new year. So for any new listeners, welcome on board. But also what Seren and I will do is we'll go through a synopsis. And then we're just going to talk about the issue. We have, for those that have access to the video, we have pages from the issue that we can refer to. We also have something called a tinfoil hat segment. Seren, I'm not sure if you have any, but these...
I do.
Excellent.
I do have a tinfoil hat. I do have a tinfoil hat.
Excellent. So these are just theories that we may come up with, thinking where the path for Jess may lead towards or what may happen. And then we'll cap it off with a spider score. So that would be about it. Seren, I know I'm putting it on you right now, but would you be able to read the synopsis?
I can read the synopsis since Ray was nice enough to write the synopsis while I was working today.
I hope it's okay.
Yeah, nope. I have not read it, so this will be great. Whilst Jess remains hot on the heels of Hydra, Diamondback strikes a deal with them to form an alliance as part of the ongoing gang war in New York. Hydra will support Diamondback with armed forces as he paves the way through the other rival gangs in order to gain more territory and power. Hydra are also assisting his custom diamond drug, ensuring a more stable performance enhancer for its users and an improved product for Diamondback to push. Meanwhile, Jess revisits her abandoned apartment for any clues on her missing son, her missing son Jerry, and is met by BFF Carol Danvers. The two friends agree that one should continue the fight against crime as an Avenger, while the other, Jess, continues her investigation alone. Carol has also enlisted the help of Madam Web to try to understand what it is that Jess has to do alone. It becomes clear, even with the Web of Destiny, that Jerry is a missing part of Jess's whole. Hailing a former trainee of Taskmaster, Jess encounters Diamondback and his gang and without hesitation jumps into the fray. After a short tussle with Diamondback, Jess is met by Green Mamba, a silent and deadly adversary. Green Mamba gains the upper hand, and as Diamondback flees, Jess encounters a gang of drugged up and enhanced goons. Jess makes short work of them and now focuses on chasing down Diamondback. Spider-Man is on the lookout for allies as he aims to tackle the gang war head-on. Jess is more than happy to help on one condition. She gets Diamondback for herself.
Yeah. So it is a strange one, Seren, because we're talking about like a number one issue, but we're talking about a mini series that is well entrenched as a tie-in to a greater event.
Yeah,
so
this happens to Jess a lot.
Yeah, yeah. So with that, there always comes some, I guess, compromises, and
Yes.
some, if again, look, I'm only going to make this one comparison, okay? Because it's not detrimental to either. But with Carla's run at the beginning, she had literally kind of like a clean slate. I mean, she referenced the past and stuff, but she was not, I don't want to say hampered, but she wasn't obligated to run a story alongside what she wanted to. Whereas this one is very different. So what did you make of this issue, Sarah?
It does. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like you said, it is hampered by being launched by a tie-in event, much like Dennis Hopeless Runs was.
Mm-hmm.
He was launched right in Spider-Verse. So his version of Spider-Woman was launched right in Spider-Verse. If you weren't following Spider-Verse, you were fucked. Yeah. This actually, I think, is a little bit better in being able to follow because it is a part of gang war, but it's also kind of removed from it.
Yeah.
So this one, I don't feel like I'm missing things yet. By reading it, like when I read Hopeless as Spider-Woman in those first 4 issues, and anyone will tell you, like the first 4 issues, like you could skip them, just start with number 5.
Yeah.
Because if you don't read the whole Spider-Verse, you're only getting bits and pieces, and I don't, and yeah, it's the same with this one, but it's not to the extreme that Dennis Hopeless had to deal with. This can almost, even though it is gang war, it's Steve Foxe has done a good job here in still making it Jess's story, because regardless of the gang war happening or not, Jess would still be on this storyline. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I think with the Dennis Hallam run, those first 4 issues, it's because that Spider-Verse, the story was so bonkers. Like, you open very
entrenched and entwined, and I actually had to go and read Spider-Verse to understand what the fuck was happening.
Yeah. Whereas in contrast, I think in this one, as you rightly say, I think this is a really good springboard for number one. Even if you had not read Carla's run or previous runs, if you wanted to, if you're curious about Spider-Woman and you jumped into this, it doesn't take you long before you kind of get what she's doing. You don't even have to have known the Amazing Spider-Man cameo where we understand she's looking for her son. It's just her trying to track down Hydra. So yeah, in a lot of ways, I think that does help her with it. I guess overall, though, I mean, looking at the 4 issues of this first arc, it is. Actually, no, I'll take that back. It probably isn't. No, it's quite standalone. Actually, it's done quite well. I think.
Yeah. That's that. No, so far, I mean, we're only 2 issues in.
Yeah.
But so far, yes, it's gang war.
Yeah.
But Jess, I feel like still, if there wasn't a gang war happening, this would still be the storyline. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well,
Like it could still be the storyline.
yeah, I mean, and I think because she focuses primarily on Diamondback, and he happens to
Right.
be in bed with Hydra, that it really makes it a very Jess-centric thing. Like, so Diamondback is
Right.
part of a greater whole of Gang War, which we've got here, the territories for the visuals, but we don't really hear too much about it. It's only just Diamondback, you know, a baddie just trying to get more power.
Right.
And it's no different from
Right.
any other one. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
So I think it's a detriment, but also it's done so well that you probably wouldn't have known it was a gang war happening if it wasn't expressly stated at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, that was it.
You wouldn't.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. The only thing at the end is that thing with Spidey that you might be if you were totally alienated.
The obligatory tie-in page.
Yeah, exactly. If you did not know anything and you came in cold just on this series, you're probably going, what's Spider-Man like? What's he got to do with it? But then it's very quick. You don't need to know anything, and it establishes that Jess wants this adventure alone. She wants this Diamondback fight for herself. So yeah, so it was pretty good in that sense. I'm going to call out first Seren. One of the first things that I guess made an impression on me for this art, and I love Carola Bareilles' art. I think she's really good. She draws a fantastic Jess. I found a lot of the pages looked very sparse, like very. There's nothing wrong with having just color for background every now and again, but I don't know. I just got this sense of either with the pages when there was little to no text or dialogue, the pages seemed really bare. I don't know if you got that impression as well.
You go back and forth a couple pages.
Okay, so I mean, so there are some instances. There's a hero shot here of Jess where there's a nice backdrop. I'm basically looking more at backdrops here. I mean, her figures and and that figure drawing is very, very good. And so it's okay. Yeah, it's okay here. There, it's a beautiful city shot. But you get these sorts of pages, which really, I mean, that's a whole page to tell you. You don't need a whole page to tell you that these guys have got a gun and they're going to search Diamondback. To me, that's a little bit of a waste of a page. And then it starts filling up a little bit here. I don't know, but I just get a sense of some of the backdrops here. I don't know. I think we're a little sparse. I think they could have been done a bit better, but I love.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But also.
Oh, that's a beautiful page.
I love that page.
There's one of the.
I really do.
So we're referring to one of the web of destiny, and there's a spider web with a shape of Jess, and there's a shape of Jerry, but he's not there. So that's pretty cool. So there are some really good visuals. I don't know. I mean, for this instance, there's one towards the end here where she goes to the club. The club looks humongous, and I understand there's only a few people in there, but it just looked really empty. And even this splash shot, which is good.
But yeah, that's a good shot. I don't know. I think it depends.
To me, I don't know. They've been...
Yeah, I think there's. Yeah, I mean, it depends. Here's the thing, though, too.
Yes.
I love Carola Bareilles. Every artist has their strengths and weaknesses, and I think Carola Bareilles is really good with character work.
Yep.
Not everyone can have super crazy backgrounds.
Yeah.
And super detailed backgrounds, but I love her character work, and I even like her fight scenes. I think her action is really good.
Action is very good. I mean, like we speak highly of Para Pare's action.
Para Pare, who is an actual martial artist and and studies fights and things we come from that, which that was because you play to your artist's strengths, right? So I love her action. It's great. But after coming from Para Pare, who was stuffed every single page, which in some ways I love Para. His art is fucking phenomenal, but sometimes it was a little much. So sometimes you can do too much, and sometimes it's not enough. And I think Carola is, give her time, because I actually really like the second issue a lot better.
Yeah, I was kind of
Also, you
holding
also
my.
had to
Sorry.
right. Yeah, and then you also have to think about too, like how much time was she given to have this in by a deadline?
True. No,
You know,
absolutely. Look, I don't want to take anything away from
I
Cara
love it.
Burley. She is a fantastic artist. These are just things that while I'm reading, they impress on me. So it's just
Yeah.
my taste. But and I was trying to kind of
Oh,
hold
I
my.
like this detail from pages to pages with her suit being still ripped and everything.
Oh yeah,
Like you know
yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
sometimes like from
Oh,
one page it's ripped and then the next it like
it's
heals
brand new.
magically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But I mean, I had to say,
Although Jess's suit was self-healing according to Carla, so
that's right. That's
anyway.
true. Well, maybe she's not using that one. But yeah, let's just say spoilers, no spoilers. Next issue that we'll discuss later on. Borelli's art takes a step up for me. So yeah, it's just for this
I love
issue.
that page too.
Yeah, because also remember, I don't know, maybe I set such a high bar for issue ones because issue ones are big setups and they're kind of like first
Yeah.
impressions last. So I really am looking for like to be really wowed like by it. So I do
Yeah.
start nitpicking, but as I say, and as you've said, Borelli's Jess, she looks awesome. I love it, and she may look even things that you don't usually praise, like Diamondback. He consistently looks good. He looks the same, considering this is a person with a face, not a mask. So you have to maintain that consistency. And yeah, Diamondback is he looks good. And jumping to the writing, I think Fox does a really good job with Diamondback. Just to round him out, because has not been that much developed as far as I know. I know him from the Bendis Defenders run, but he's certainly making a
I
stand for
just
himself.
keep thinking of the chick Diamondback. Every
Oh
time
yeah,
you tell me Diamondback, this is not the Diamondback I think of. I
yeah,
think chick Diamondback, and I was like, oh shit,
yeah,
she's gonna be a bad guy. What happened? I thought she was good last time I heard
yeah.
because she kind of swapped sides. And I'm like, oh
Yeah,
no, this is a completely different Diamondback.
Diamondback.
Never mind.
Yeah, Diamondback with his diamond drug. So I mean, what did you think of the writing, Seren, for
Oh, I
overall?
loved it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
like the story. I mean, it's a little. I think it's a little predictable, like
Mm-hmm.
because I remember a couple months ago we were talking about it, and we're like, "Hey, this is probably," and we were right.
Yeah.
um, so, but no, I love his characterization of Jess. I think he's got Jess, like he's got kind of this nice balance of hopeless Jess and Carla Jess
Yeah.
that I like.
Yeah. There are some remarks. I love this remark where she goes, "What? Let me take." She goes, "5 against 1. Sucks to be you." I love, love that kind of
Yeah,
that swagger that she has, and she carries that on
yeah,
into the next issue. I did find though that Fox, he does get Jess in that sense. Sometimes the dialogue to me seemed a little bit clunky. I mean, I don't want to take too much away.
I
Sorry.
No, I didn't think so. I mean, I
Okay.
don't know. Truly, I like Jess is like currently the only comic I'm reading right now.
Okay.
I will say I saw your note about the Carol scene in here,
Yeah.
and I loved it because
Yeah.
if I'm gonna have Jess and Carol, or Jess or a Carol comic, they need to show up in each other's comics. Like
Yeah.
that, there's no, I will not accept, and that was my biggest complaint about probably I think it was I don't know. I get really I think there was a Kelly Sue run
Mhm.
where Jess was it Kelly Sue? I don't know. There was one run
Yeah.
of Captain Marvel where Jess didn't show up at all.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I like at this point, like these two are so much of an established duo.
Yeah.
Like it's weird when you don't see one showing up in the other's comic. I mean, they don't have to be on every single issue.
Yep.
But they need to show up like, a little bit. Like and Kelly Thompson did that beautifully with her Captain Marvel run. I have not read the other Captain Marvel runs, guys. I'm really behind. I'm only reading Jess right now.
Yeah.
So I gotta catch up. That said, I do love Carol's new suit. It's real good.
It's very cool,
real
isn't it?
good.
It's so new.
Yep.
Look, I totally agree with you as well. Like, especially for an issue 1, I think it's important to have Carol make an appearance because they are so close.
Yeah.
The only thing I have kind of against this scene, I don't know. Maybe I thought maybe Fox could have integrated her some other way because essentially she comes in to visit Jess. And
Right.
the
And
outcome is like, you just be an Avenger. Let me just do my thing. And she's like, okay. I
right.
mean,
And you know
that's
what? I see what you're saying here.
yeah.
But because if you did not read the little tie-in in the Spider-Man where Carol, which was really the majority of that tie-in, the little prequel piece,
Mhm.
the tie-in, a big part of that tie-in was Carol looking for Jess and not being able to find her. So if you didn't realize and read that, yes, I can see where this is jarring. So
Okay.
here's what I will say. If this scene threw you for a loop, go back and read that Amazing Spider-Man super issue. I forget
Okay.
which issue it is.
Yeah, I've got
Spider
it.
Babies will
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
Read the tie-in because it will elaborate this scene a lot better. It was not jarring to me at all, but I also already knew going into this that Carol was looking for Jess.
Okay, gotcha. No, because it had been, I have read that actually, but it was ages ago. Like it's I've been so far behind in my comics. I only recently read, issue 1, this Spider-Woman issue 1, so I've totally forgotten about Carol's appearance in that small kind of tie-in. But okay, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, so yeah, in any case, I don't know, again just my taste. I think some of the dialogue that they exchange, so, look, so I guess I'm no amazing critic or whatever, but one of one of my parameters is, if you're reading something and they're talking, you want to kind of imagine it and believe that it's someone that could speak that out loud. Sometimes the stuff that they were saying to me sounded like it looks good on paper and written form, it works well, but if someone says that out loud, it ends up sounding a little corny. I don't know. I mean, that's just my
I mean, this
take
is
on it.
Carol Danvers we're talking about,
Yeah,
dude.
exactly.
I
Yeah,
mean,
and Jess as well. So.
both of them are corny as shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, the dialogue, the dialogue works for me. I had no
Okay.
problem with it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah.
It's Carol.
Yeah.
Carol. I love her to death. She's a badass, but she's also corny as shit.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, but I mean, that's what I kind of picked up anyway. I do like that. I do like Madam Web's appearance as well, because I love how that Fox is at least tying it to obviously what had recently happened to Jess as well.
Yeah, and I
So-
think it's I'm gonna say this: missing baby arcs. I mean, I kind of expected it was going to happen,
Mhm.
but the way this was done, I think, is very well because nobody remembers Jerry. No one.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers him. And I think if you look over at, apparently, and this is just based on an article I read, I have not read Spider-Boy, but apparently Spider-Boy had a similar experience coming back and nobody remembered him.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know. I could be misremembering. So I think this is very, very interesting.
Yeah, I think with Spider Boy, because that's right. There is the case of of
I don't
actually
know how
no
true any of that is. If
oh
I'm
no,
misinterpreting, I haven't read it.
yeah, sorry, no, it's Spider Boy. Is kind of a bit flummoxed by the fact that Spider Man doesn't remember him. So there's a little bit something weird going there. I don't know.
Or he could be a whole other multiversal thing again.
Yes, yeah, but yeah. So interesting stuff. The fight scene towards the end, I thought was really good. I love, you love seeing a good Spider Woman action fight scene. What did you make of the introduction of Black Mamba?
It made me think of Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
also, that's my tinfoil hat theory of who Black Mamba is.
Okay. Sorry, who just tinfoil hat? What? It's who? Kill Bill.
No. Well, Black Mamba makes me think of Kill Bill because they were all snake themed assassins or whatever in that movie. I love that movie, but they're all women. But anyway, I thought I was like, oh, Kill Bill. But no. Yeah. Anyway, that's where my brain is, and that's how my brain works. It doesn't make sense. Don't try. No. And I agree, because one of our spider babies also pointed this out in our Patreon Discord.
Mm-hmm.
I think Black Mamba's Jerry.
Yeah, I did see that. I did see that as well.
And I think I think it gets more confirmed for me in issue 2, which one we'll talk about, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah, okay, yep. I think I know why. But yes, I love the design. I love the fact that you've got the snake like I don't know. It could be tubes. It could be just purely aesthetics,
Yeah.
just coiling around the arms and the
Now,
shoulders.
my question was Black Mamba given to Diamondback from Hydra?
Sorry, Green
Or
Mamba. Yeah.
yeah, Green Mamba. I'm sorry, Green Mamba.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I said Black Mamba because again, I'm thinking fucking Kill Bill. Green Mamba.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, I'm assuming. Yeah, no, he's has a Hydra belt.
How did?
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So yeah. So that just explains it all to me. I love that Hydra is a big part of this arc. I love
Me
it.
too. Me too. I love it as
Love
well.
it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I love it
I'm gonna go.
because that makes me happy.
Yeah, me too. No, no, absolutely. And again, I'm biting my tongue here because of what comes in issue 2, which we'll discuss. But sorry, I'm saying it now. Green Mamba.
You're doing it too now. It's not just me.
A Green Mamba reminds me of the Serpent Society as well. So I'm hoping I wonder if we get even more. I wonder if Green Mamba
Well, I mean,
is
he's named
more.
Diamond. Well, he's also named Diamondback. So if he named this guy Green Mamba,
Yeah.
he just could be sticking with the snake theme.
Yeah, true. Yeah, look, like I said, I like the costume. I think it looks really cool.
Yeah,
The visors,
cool.
yeah, the visor's different. I love how Jess is not phased by Green Mamba. The first thing she does is actually wallops him, and even Diamondback goes, "Damn."
Also,
yeah.
Sorry, I'm looking at this page you've got up.
Mhm.
Kudos to the colorist.
Yes.
Keeping Jess's Venom Blast green.
Oh, look at it come off Green Mamba's surface as well. Looks awesome. So really.
And Carol Borelli also makes some green in her commissions.
Yeah.
By the way.
Oh no, it's really good.
Awesome.
And so
get commissions from her. She's really great to work with.
I know. Yeah, you met her. That's great.
I did. I met her at NYCC. She's very nice.
Yeah. So funny here. The calling card of Diamondback is obviously to drop diamonds. I'll be like, give me a beating. I'll have a handful of diamonds. Why not?
They're probably fake diamonds.
Yeah, they're probably from the dollar shop. But as I said, I love this scene where all the goons soup themselves up and just goes 5-on-1. Sucks to be you. And then 3 minutes later, she gets them all.
Yeah.
And what we find important, because what leads into issue 2 is that she does pick up a sample of the diamond drug as well.
Yeah.
So remember, Spider Babies, that Jess is also an investigator at heart as well. So she can dish it out with them, but we see it kind of culminate in some sense in the next issue, which is pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
And then we get towards the end here, Sarah, and just with Spider-Man, as you say, the obligatory thing.
Because truly, I never would have guessed this was really a gang war tie-in without this page. Like
even issue 2's the same as well. I think. Apart from one, there's a couple of pages which kind of spread out into the gang war, but we'll get to that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, and a fantastic final page of Jess there. Seren, no hidden spider this time round.
Nope, that was. I actually haven't followed the other books that Para is on, so I don't know if he has a calling card on any of those with like something hidden on the last page or on the first page. I'll have to ask him.
But
that's okay. No, I like this though because I really like Jess's. I really like the determination in Jess's face and like her clenched fist. She's so pissed. I love her.
And her eyes, I'm having a look. They're green, aren't they? So that's good.
They are green, but they're blue in the next issue, which makes me sad.
Oh, really? Damn, I didn't notice. I love how the next issue, though, it does say spy, the woman strikes. I love that.
Yeah. Do you know where that comes from? The Spider Woman?
No.
We can thank Anya Corazon for that. In one of the Avengers series written by Kelly Sue DeConnick, there was a team up with Black Widow, Jess, and Anya. And it's a great scene. They're in an elevator, and Anya, being the kid that she is, gives them a fuck ton of sass. And she's like, are we team Lady Spiders or team Spider Ladies? And it's very funny. Anya burns Nat so good. She also burns Carol real good too. You should all read that if you want a good chuckle. That arc is so fun. It was during the Inhuman push.
Yep.
So Anya's teacher winds up being Inhuman and goes missing. So Carol and Nat help her out. And yeah, it takes them to an AIM building, and it's good. It's a good time. It's a real good time. You should
Cool.
all read it because
It sounds
Kelly
good.
Sue DeConnick writes a great Jess too.
Oh yeah, there's so many great writers that can that have a good handle of Jess. I think is really good. So yeah, and I lifted that Spider Woman. I built another Spider Woman deck. But Marvel Champions. I've just got to say, spy related. That I had to use Spider Woman. So yeah, so that pretty much wraps for issue 1, Seren.
Because Nat is also a Spider Woman.
Yes,
except she doesn't have spider powers.
No, but she's a Black Widow. So yeah. Seren.
So our spider scores, huh?
Spider scores. What would you give this out of 5? We usually do.
I gave it a 4 because I had a good time with it and I enjoyed it.
Let me put that down on the sheet just
and
so
I think,
don't forget.
Yeah, I like the fight scenes. I like how Carola draws Jess, and I really liked how the fact that even though this launched during a tie-in, Steve Foxe did a great job at making you not realize it was quite a tie-in. It could have stood alone without being part of the gang war. Yeah, in my opinion.
Yeah, cool. No, that's great. So 4 out of 5.
It wasn't. I love Dennis Hopeless's run, but those first 4 issues were rough, and I know it's really. I don't fault him for it.
No,
because he was given the series and like, hey, you got to launch in you got to do 4-part arc in the middle of this thing, and if you didn't know what was going on, you're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, no, exactly. No, totally agree. On that front, I'll give it a 3 out of 5. Seren, I enjoyed it as well. And issue 2, we'll talk about that later as well. I really enjoyed that too. It's always just like a what is it? It's kind of a settling down period. I know it's been a while since we've had the Carla and Pera run, but just coming off that and then just going into a totally new series with a new style, sometimes it just takes a little time to get used to. And I really enjoy the Carola Borelli depictions of Jess and all the figures, as I mentioned before as well. I think, as you say, Steve Foxe does a really good job in creating a tie-in, but in having it still independent and still having it a very Jess-centric story. I'm looking forward to what comes up ahead. It's hard to shake off, the previous runs. But, I said that at the beginning of Carla's run as well, Carla Pacheco's run, because it was so different from the Dennis Hallam run. So
my gosh, yeah, Carla going from Dennis to Carla's run, that was a little whiplash.
It was, whiplash.
I loved it.
That is it. Yeah, it's a bit of a whiplash.
I loved it though. I loved it. I was I was for it.
Well,
I love anyone who goes deep into those
Oh yeah.
I love Bendis's origin, and Carla went right into that.
Yes.
And I love that Steve is going right into Hydra. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, absolutely as well. But I don't know. You get used to how things are until the new series starts, and there's nothing wrong with changing it up, which is what Steve Foxe has done. But I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes to next. I'm glad to hear that we get an issue 5 and it's going to another arc. So let's see. So a 3 out of 5 for me. And we'll see where this takes us. Seren, any other last things before we wrap this one up?
I don't believe so. Let me have a look-see. I don't know. Let me check the threads.
Yeah. Whilst you do that, I just want to thank again our Spider Baby patrons. Thank you so much for helping us out. I know we've been missing over the break, end of year break, but we're here now and we're looking forward to more coverage. So thanks to Miriam, Rustin, Eric, and of course Jess. And Jess, glad to hear you're playing Marvel Champions. Have you found anything else, Seren, that I may have forgotten?
No comments that I have seen.
Okay. Cool.
I know one of our patrons agrees. Well, we already talked about that, so no, we're good. I'm good.
Seren, it's not going to be too long before our next episode. What have we got on there? It's pretty obvious.
Spider-Woman issue number 2, which is episode 49.
40.
And oh my God, when number 3 comes out, we'll be at episode 50.
I know. How cool is...
we got for episode 50, dude.
Giveaway or something?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, we'll get our heads together. We'll figure out what we can do. But yeah, issue 50, episode 50. Very, very proud of that. And looking forward to that. But before that, of course, we do have part 2 coming up. As mentioned, a huge thank you to everyone involved, as well as the collective. It is still up and running. The likes of Ghost Rider Podcast, Inner Demons, EMP, Earth's Mightiest Podcast, or you can look at Tomes of Evil still around, and Resurrections, Thanos and Adam Warlock Podcast. They're all there. Go check them out. It's in the show notes as well. You can also find us on email. Drop us a line at spiderwomanpod@gmail.com. Also, our social media pages as well: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Blue Sky, Discord. We're there, and we've got a website.
I apologize, guys, for not being as active on Twitter, but I will get back to it. And also Blue Sky. Blue Sky's hard. I haven't quite figured out how it worked yet.
But
we'll get there.
We'll try to keep our presence there. I'll be a lot more active as well. Throw us your thoughts. I see, Seren, I put up a discussion thread for issue 3, and I see we've got a couple of comments there already. So looking forward to that when the time comes, of course. All right. Well, I think that about wraps us, Seren. It's been a pleasure as always.
Wonderful as always, Ray. And until next time,
to know her is to fear her. Catch you later.
If you'd like to contact us with your thoughts on Spider-Woman and her amazing series, you can drop us a line at spiderwomanpod@gmail.com. We are also on Facebook and Instagram. Just search for Spider-Woman Pod or To Know Her Is to Fear Her, a Spider-Woman podcast. Catch us on Twitter at Spider-Woman Daily or on Discord, Tumblr, and Podchaser. Look for all our links to our social platforms in the show notes.
We are also proud members of The Collective, a supergroup of podcasters dedicated to covering all the characters and news in comics and beyond. Search for #TheCollectiveNet on Twitter to see the latest on all the shows, or click on the link provided in our episodes to give you a list of who's part of The Collective. Finally, please consider giving us a rating on either Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. Whether it be to sing your praises or give us pointers on how to improve the show, any ratings will help cast our web further and potentially reach out to more spider babies out there.
Thank you so much for listening to our show. We really appreciate it. Stay tuned for our next upcoming episode. But until then, remember, to know her is to fear her.
Spider-Woman and affiliated characters, stories and events are properties of Marvel Characters Incorporated. Material used and discussed within the podcast are intended for critique and review purposes only, under the fair dealing concept of the current Copyright Act. The views, information, or opinions expressed during the podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the copyright owners.